This is the first of a reading from our upcoming The Cookie Bible. It's the foreword from Miro and Shilpa Uskokovic. I'm sorry that it can't be in their voices with their enchanting accents, but it is in their voice, and you'll have to settle for the moment for my New York accent. Here it is. A decade ago, we were two young, enthusiastic students at the Culinary Institute of America. We loved being in school, learning, cooking, eating, making new friends. Our most favorite thing to do when we felt grown up and adventurous and flush with cash from our on-campus jobs was to take the train down to New York City. We'd sightsee a little or just amble down the avenues, dwarfed and oddly comforted by the solid, soaring buildings around us. We'd stop to stare at the person with the floppy hat dipping strawberries in the Godiva storefront. A couple of times, we rode the subway to Queens, where there were piles of shrink-wrapped goat and purple stacks of milka and barrels of sharp feta in brine. And of course we ate, as much as and sometimes more than our budget allowed. Our day trip would often end with us quite literally holding up our stomachs with our hands as we trot waddling back to Grand Central. But no matter what the rest of our New York City itinerary included, the one non-negotiable each time was a visit to the Strand bookstore, the famously mile-long purveyor of books on every subject you'd care to read about. It was there that we happened upon a pristine copy of the Cake Bible by Rose Levy Berenbaum. That's me. Okay. We were enchanted by the tabulated lists and retro line drawings, reassured by the gushing reviews on the back, and encouraged by the exacting but approachable details in the recipes. We bought the book and spent the rest of the school year baking out of it in our dorm kitchen. We didn't know then, on that chilly evening with our coats tugged tight around us, that within the decade we would be married to each other. I get the chills reading this. Living in New York City, one of us the pastry chef of a legendary New York restaurant, still getting chills, and the real kicker, furiously exchanging texts with this beloved prophet of baking, I guess it would be me, Rose herself, while eating Shilpa's goat biryani, oh my God, I love that so much, and drinking Rose's blood orange sours. To know Rose is to know the spirit of giving. She gives generously of herself, her abiding friendship, her anecdotes that will make you go ooh and then ah and then howl with laughter. Her uncanny ability to retain and recount every detail brings any story to life. She will give you her hot takes on ice cream machines and lamb sausages, bring you magazines she thinks you will like, or first editions or uncorrected proofs of books you'll always cherish. But most of all, she gives you her formidable, unmatched knowledge on all things baking. Rose was one of the first authors to recognize and insist that metric weights are imperative for consistently fabulous results. She specifies whether the flour required in a recipe is bleached or not, because she knows through exhaustive testing just what influence this will have on the final result. She is persistent, she's unfailingly curious, my favorite quality, and she is always open to learning more, all qualities we deeply respect her for. This is what makes every book of hers a smashing success in inordinate attention to details and science of a recipe. We've been lucky enough to taste many cookies from this book as Rose and Woody meticulously tested them through. We went mad for her strudel cookies, delicate swirls of flaky dough encircling tart amber-colored apricots and studded with nuts. Rose brought over a carefully packed box, and the next day they were gone, downed with our afternoon tea on the balcony. Sturdy pfeffernusse, well, they are sturdy, all right. Fragrant and ground pepper, cloves, and cinnamon were all too easy to nibble on. Miro was thrilled to taste Rose's version of the caramel-bellied snickerdoodles he serves at Gramercy Tavern. For her caramel surprise snickerdoodles, she's adapted them into a thin sandwich cookie that drips with dark, chewy caramel when you bite into it. There are dozens, hundreds more cookies in the Cookie Bible that we're absolutely dying to try. We are absolutely dying to try, from apricot walnut rugelach to Woody's luxury brownies, from the niche little Ishler to the familiar comfort of cranberry chocolate chippers. Shilpa, always a sucker for words, quickly shortlisted a few cookies she fell in love with for the names alone, lemon lumpies and banana custard cuddle cookies to start. You might laugh at such a childlike way of picking a recipe, but it is a Rose Levy Bearman production, and you just know that all the recipes are going to be great. Every verse from this Bible is worth preaching about. With love and cookies, Miro and Shilpa Uskokovic, April 2020. I'm so blessed. We are so blessed to have this forward from them, from two of our dearest friends. There'll be more in the future on with the head notes reading, but for now, this is the forward. Next, the introduction, but not today.